here it is. Shh.
All right. We
Man.
are, I think, yeah, people have been waiting for this one. So
Cool.
we're, you've been very active in Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, and the socials, and your community's doing great at MASQ. So I'm really excited to see today's session. Alex, what do you think?
I am also very excited. I know everybody else is. The chat we had earlier with the DPIN group, I think, set the perfect foundation for this. So yeah, just excited.
Nice.
All right. Are we going to be sharing a presentation or sharing a screen here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, damn, the production level is so good with this whole event. I gotta say, how can you not be amped watching those intro videos, right?
Yeah, that Bitmain one. It was like the shh, and then yeah, I don't even know.
I mean, it's funny because like the crowd, you can't hear them, but it's like they're probably wowed. They're like, oh, whoa, wow, that's so cool. You know, everyone's blown away with this.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, we should all know by now, but MASQ Browser is here to present integrating Handshake, of course, but also all sorts of amazing tech all under one hood. So let's stand by and learn a thing or two.
All right.
Yeah. Now, thanks for having us. Really enjoying everything in HandyCon so far. I got to catch a few sessions yesterday. I caught part of the session before, which was the stateless Dane. The Dane implementations by Rithvik, who I feel is like automatically a super fan of MASQ, but I'm a super fan of his work because I've seen so much that he's been building. And Nathan Woodburn, like both those guys are they just impress me so much. Then OGs like Alex, like Mike, I mean, all the people, like you guys literally have one of the best communities I've seen in crypto. This is my 8th year in crypto. This is literally one of the best, open, just welcoming, incredible communities. So, I'm just grateful to be here. I'm stoked that you guys invited us to do a session and just to showcase how MASQ is really offering a window into the amazing stuff that Handshake has built on the protocol layer. It's basically, I'll talk about it today, but, it's cool to build amazing stuff, but if no one can dive in and see it, use it, feel it, touch it, you really can't, it doesn't go far. So, today we'll talk about bringing Web3 and privacy into the browser space. I'm going to show a demo today too. This is our latest, greatest version 9 of 0.9 of the MASQ browser. Super, super excited to show that because loads of people have been waiting. Everyone in our community is just waiting with bated breath, waiting to see it come out. So I'm going to showcase that. For those who want to jump into some immediate alpha, we have our brand new website live just for Handshake, just for HandyCon 2024. Go to maskbrowser.com. You'll see our new, refreshed, amazing, brand new, shiny, inviting, friendly, personalized, personified, I should say, website, which is going to be the forefront of our product. This is where everyone's going to find out about Handshake in the browser. It's where everyone's going to find out about MASQ. So as we know today, HandyCon 2024, the theme is RED: resilience, evolution, diversification. It's really timely to speak about these things, because in the world of blockchain now, I want to slide ahead. The world of blockchain and decentralized tech now is growing. It's growing so rapidly into the mainstream. And these are important ideas and things that we need to rally around. But let's all, for a second, there's a question for the crowd just to think about. What do you guys and girls, what do you feel inside when we drop these big names? Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Meta. I can hear through the silence of the crowd. Ooh, I can. GoDaddy. What do you guys and girls feel nowadays when you hear these names? Do you feel good? about using their products and platforms? Do you feel comfortable when you think about how your most personal connections and information flows through these companies? I got to admit, many people we chat to these days through MASQ, through tech, through Web3, these companies do not elude positivity feelings around them as much, if at all now, you know? A lot of people have said this is the stuff that they feel this is the stuff they think about when they hear these big names that I'm showing on the screen. Ads, strict, invasive, predatory. But here's the thing. We also hear lots and lots of the users who use these platforms say this word, convenient. We love convenience. Humans love convenience. We pay for convenience. And at the moment, a lot of us are paying through the loss of privacy, through our information we spread through online. That's what we're paying with. And these companies are monetizing that. And that's, there's a business model for that. It's many, many years old now. But today's reality in the digital realm is there's lots of decentralized tools we can use and protocols like Handshake that offer ways around this for resilience. But they're not the most convenient for people to use. Let's be honest. It's a big part of our theme today is how do we make it more convenient? So what if there was a way we could make it convenient? That's where the browser comes in. So what MASQ we're trying to do, what our solution and what we're doing, actually, I shouldn't say trying anymore because we're over 4 years in the making. What we're building is user resilience through a privacy OS browser experience. And I'm excited to talk about that technology today because it's firmly based in our vision that is shared by Handshake. And that strong partnership was almost inevitable that we cross paths in this way because we're bringing forth an evolution in user resilience using a diversified approach to a decentralized internet. So I'm sure you guys and girls saw what I did there, right? I used all the red themes. It's hard to deny, though, that these days in the digital world, the window into that is the web browser. Whether that's a tablet, a laptop, a phone, a desktop computer, everyone experiences online and digital experiences and products through a browser for the most part. And if you look at the browser market share worldwide, Chrome has an enormous majority market share. And that might be fine. I mean, they've given us a lot of cool stuff and they like to rebrand and rename anything. But, we have Chromium, which was open sourced, and that's how a lot of browsers and cool things are evolved and built and experimented with. So that's actually inside our MASQ browser as we are built on a Chromium fork. So it is very well adopted, very well security monitored, and we downstream get all the great privacy and security updates. But in reality, browsers have fundamentally remained the same since the days of Netscape and Internet Explorer in terms of user experience. So because of that, the ways that people explore and experiment and enrich their online experiences, they got to use customized plugins, extensions, and other add-ons, and they're frequently the go-to solutions for people who want a more sophisticated or modern or enriching or Web3, Web4 experience. So this creates quite a gap for users to bridge from Web2 to Web3 and even to Web4, like Chad mentioned the other day in his session, which I really enjoyed, with him, Paul, and Todd talking about the concept of Web4 with less gatekeepers, through Handshake. But many mainstream browsers are behind in this. When it comes to safely integrating things, just like Handshake to domain resolution, Web3 connections to on-chain data and decentralized data retrieval from stuff like IPFS, they're all quite far behind. So we want to stand in the front with MASQ Browser, put this in front of the users, and bring these things to life in ways that most other browsers are just trying to explore now. Some browser companies are simply leaving their users behind, to their own solutions. So what we've been building and curating is a native Web3 experience in a browser that can become your everyday driver. We want that browser experience to be modular. We're longstanding projects like Handshake that are truly driven by decentralization and a freedom-based culture. They can seamlessly enter the screen of millions of users with all the conveniences you guys and girls already enjoy from other browsers. So this curated experience draws from our vision at MASQ, whether you are, just a few examples, whether you are a user in Russia who's blocked from using Twitter, or you're a journalist who is living in some other country trying to publish and report on the ground through to global media sites, but you're oppressed by the infrastructure there. Or you live in a country where you're simply unbanked, the authorities are blocking crypto and digital asset access to platforms because they don't like this user resilience in the financial area. MASQ provides user resilience in these aspects because we're offering our flagship feature of borderless browsing. So what you're seeing on the screen, that's just a still, but that's what our iterations are moving to with the browser. You'll see a desktop feel, which is our privacy OS. And you've got on the right-hand side a panel, which could eventually be ported, and it will be made at some point into an extension, which can live in other browsers and let you connect to that. And so the network is built by the users running their MASQ, and they're sharing their bandwidth safely and securely across the world. So of course at MASQ, we deliver this in what we call the Web3 Privacy OS, or the Privacy OS, where privacy is by default. That's our slogan in terms of this privacy ethos and protecting your information. Users can operate anywhere in the world and anywhere on the privacy spectrum that they want. Because some people are very privacy centric. They like to protect everything. They like to have very, strict layers of access for things they want to set up. And then you've got people towards the other side who they don't really worry too much. They like to dabble a little bit. Maybe they turn on a VPN when they want to watch Netflix in a different country or access a site, whatever. There's a whole range. But all those users can gain resilience through the big data silos out there that I named right at the beginning through using MASQ. So why is browser privacy important? And why is preserving digital personal value really key for our future? Well, we share a lot of personal information online. Our browsing habits are often tracked, and we use a lot of platforms. We use a lot of sign-ins and accounts that we do business with as a customer, as a business. And a lot of that's very open and upfront, right? We're going to sign up for an account with an email address. We're going to put in personal details and become a customer. That personal data is shared. That's mostly visible and upfront. You're aware of it. The user knows. Where a lot of our data and value of the data and personal value of you as a human is being extracted is on the invisible layer in the form of cookies, trackers, ad clicks, and even geolocation data being picked up from websites you just have open in the background. And all these things leak your personal value online in the form of your digital info. So that's how Big G and these giants are getting rich, okay? They're monetizing each of us. And these are processed through ad platforms and sold. And, there's value in that. But, not a lot of that value often trickles back to us as the users. And that's why Web3 is a powerful concept and a powerful movement, is because, yes, read, write, own. Part of that own is you're owning your value or keeping your value that normally leaks out to these large companies who monetize it. And they're obviously growing bigger by the year. I mean, it's amazing watching what's happening. So on that basis alone, MASQ Browser minimizes your personal data leakage by blocking trackers, ad clicks, destroys your cookies for you. Your browser history is removed by default if you, close your browser. And that's all on a design model, delivering privacy by default. So in a sense, you get security when you need it through our encrypted mesh network, the MASQ network, powered by peers on the protocol layer. And also, you get superior privacy browsing when you want it with just a few clicks. So what I'm going to show you now is a demo of our software, MASQ Browser running. If there's a few things you haven't seen before and you're a user, that's because you're here on the front seats for the alpha. So maybe Mike and Alex, you can let me know, is that showing up okay on the screen? Or give me a bunch of love on the emojis. Hopefully everyone can see. Awesome. Okay. So we're running live. You can see I am here in Hobbittown in New Zealand, down under. And I'm browsing on my normal internet right now. And we've added a few things here. Some of it can't be seen. Some of it can. But one thing I wanted to show is, I think it's in, actually, we'll start with this. This is our new website, which I'll just use a public resolver. I was hoping for the last version of the other software here to show it, but I saved it and it didn't work. It's all right. Everyone should go to our new website. Please try out what you're about to see. We're going to release that version ASAP, but please look at what we've put out on the new website and give us feedback, because some of the people listening and watching, you're just hearing about MASQ through Handshake. And yes, we're integrating a lot of that amazing tech, but at the same time, you know, we want you to try this out, because we live and thrive and build this on user feedback. So that's where we're showcasing everything. We've got Handshake as a partner here and lots of cool stuff. But let's make the magic happen, right? I'm going to connect. I want some privacy right now with what I'm doing in this browser. So I want to connect to the MASQ network. And I want to consume. I want to be protected here across my internet. So it's going to go through. I've only clicked 3 times. It's going to go through, do some steps. All the cool stuff's under the hood. We talked about it in our DPIN web panel. Users don't always care that much, really, what's going on. They just want to see it work. So what was that, 10 seconds? We're connected to MASQ, across the MASQ network. It's hopping a little bit. I'm now in Germany. And I can go and surf websites like I'm in Germany. So I'm getting privacy when I want it. Now, this can apply to HNS domains. If you hop to an HNS domain, you might want to see visit something, and maybe you don't want your ISP to know what you're doing. And I've already hopped to the Netherlands, so I'm in a different site altogether. So we have that as our mesh network. We have that as jump mode by default. You're hopping at different places. As long as that website can be served, you'll get it privately through MASQ. And people might be wondering, okay, well, how does this work? Well, to keep it very simple and not to, nerd out too much, because I do get carried away. Maybe someone should give me like a signal if I do get too carried away with technical stuff. Our privacy OS, the way it works is our unique network protocol that runs the MASQ network. It looks like normal traffic. So when I'm browsing the MASQ network here, a MASQ website, everything looks like normal data. It's encrypted with TCP/IP. It's a standard packet that's 60 to 70% of all traffic that goes through all the big data centers of the world to route things. And each user on the network that's running MASQ and serving the network from this browser, turning on their serving as a node, they cannot see any other, they cannot see all the other users in the network, and they can only pass data to the 4 users around them. So these are the hops. And everything's encrypted using the same encryption method that most of the internet's based on. So no other users at all can see what's being passed around. And then the final node, which if some people understand networking and Tor, things like VPN Tor, things like that, the exit node will be in some other country. For me right now, the exit node's in the UK. That exit node is a MASQ user. They also don't know where that data's come from. And the server won't know where the user was from. The server just sees the exit node giving them the traffic. So in summary, all this works privately using concepts of VPN and Tor. And we're giving users a seamless browsing experience with hardly any setup. So right now I'm using all that technology. I've just spent 10 to 15 seconds just to set it up. And so, it's very much private. I don't know very much how you can make it more private by default. But because the user's ISP doesn't know where the traffic's going, the MASQ users themselves don't know where the data's from or where it's going next. And the end server doesn't see the real user's IP. It's really, really putting that privacy by default right in the front of the experience, but without the users really knowing. So that's the real bridge of this Web 2 to Web 3, privacy feeling, privacy OS. Another important point to mention is that if something these days can be censored or controlled. It is increasingly likely that they're going to do that somehow. Some entity or regime or corporation is likely to do that at some point. So we obviously felt, as part of this vision, to partner with Handshake. It was necessary, and supporting HNS domains is necessary to make things as decentralized as possible. But we want that in a native way, because we do see a future where users can preserve their privacy, but also having access to everything they may wish on the clear web, and that involves a decentralized naming system. Being resilient, that's the key, being resilient from the grips of ICANN. And they've been mentioned on lots of speaker points, because they are really the real gatekeeper that's hiding in plain sight to most of the internet users of the world, which are billions of people. So how are we involving Handshake? Well, sticking with the E out of RED, which is the theme for the conference, we're evolving. We're building and growing amazing things, and that does require us as builders to adapt and evolve, especially in the product space. So in the privacy space, in the browser space, I should say, specifically, we got to evolve the experience of people from Web 2 to Web 3. We've got to make that work. So again, web browsers are the window to all the wonders of Web 3 and Web 4 and beyond. So we have to make it as easy as possible for them to use. So one big aspect we built into the browser is our Web3 dApp store. Now, the live version of this, which we'll release, will have Handshake in the dApp store. It'll have some of the very amazing tools that some of your community have built, such as like HNS links and your video meeting over HNS, which I know Nathan is amazing at building a lot of these tools, and all the other people. They'll appear in here. And anyone and everyone can just explore them, can add them to their launcher here. And you get this experience where you can really live in these spaces. And right now, I've got a workspace, a finance space, and a play space. In the future, MASQ, very soon, actually. I don't want to say in the future, because that sounds like it's farther than it is. But, very soon, if not, Q2, which is just around the corner, premium users will get ways to have lots of features. And if you hold a bunch of MASQ, you become a premium user in the browser. You can customize these spaces. You can add extra spaces and basically live in each area that you want based on what your interests are. If you want to go and do some Web3 games, you can hop on your space, have all those bookmarks there, browse that stuff, and really just enjoy Web3 right at your fingertips. You can notice the speed is a little bit slower, only because it's hopping through 3 hops, and I'm down here in Hobbittown, way at the other side of the earth in New Zealand. I'm having to hop through quite a distance to get to the content. But one feature that's coming also very soon is what we call our node hop feature. This is where you can customize how many hops you have. It's a trade of hop privacy security, security like privacy layers for speed. And I might only want 1 hop, like a VPN, or 2 hops, and get faster delivery of the content where it's just less privacy layering from the hops. And what's cool is we'll also be building native support, as native as we can, into MASQ to make that the most seamless experience possible for users. So the segment prior to this was stateless DANE. That's like the tippy top goal, because that really provides, as it says, a stateless way to authenticate a domain is valid using the blockchain, the HNS blockchain, and delivering that content to the user. And therefore, users won't have to install anything custom. They just install a wonderful looking browser called MASQ and decides to navigate to all the cool things. And what's amazing is Handshake has offered many pathways for users to access a protocol. There's lots of tooling being built, and especially now with the happening, which has just opened up thanks to the world, there's a huge diversification, not just for the decentralized domain marketplace, but for the builders and visitors of all the websites being built across HNS. So there's just, a lot of that access, which is being diversified, to end with the D out of red, diversification to get user adoption is going to be the key. And again, browsers are the window, right? You need everyone able to access this technology as easy as possible. So we've got a lot more features built in here. I mean, we're going to have Namebase and various HNS partners also able to appear in this dApp store. People can navigate to them straight away. And again, if I want to just navigate to my normal, across my normal internet connection, it's as easy as 2 clicks. I'm back in New Zealand in my normal location, and I can navigate to wherever I want. So we want to make this modular. Another partner of ours is Presearch, for example. So, you kind of can layer this privacy stack, if you will, where you might have, you're going from a decentralized domain in HNS to I want to do a search. Well, now it's a decentralized search aggregator, which is not tracking you. The IPs are privatized, so no one in the path can really know what you are doing as a user, and you're getting decentralized all the way through. Then you might want to use your favorite crypto sites or digital assets. You've got leading name wallet providers out of the box. All sorts of stuff here. We're going to have a encrypted wallet-to-wallet chat that will appear as a dApp, a native dApp, and so many things. Like, the amazing thing is we want to diversify this ecosystem as well, and so we're constantly talking to partners. And if anyone has an amazing project which you feel is so firmly in the ethos of what Handshake represents, what MASQ represents, what personal data sovereignty represents, please reach out, because that dApp store is open to curation by partners, projects, community, and eventually want to decentralize this where it's just a list that people can curate, vote on, and verify all online, and maybe even on chain one day soon. That is now also censorship resistant, trustless, where it's actually a real legit site, not a phishing link, and those types of things. So, that ecosystem is already quite rich, but it's just the sky's the limit. The vision is so expansive that's what it looks like. So just to get back to my slides, I got real excited showing this demo. So, I mean, I haven't even looked at the chat. If anyone wants to ask a few questions, I'll have a look here. Wall-to-wall chat, yeah, that's something we're trying to build in. HNS search, hey, we'll put that in there. We're gonna get this going. And I had let's see, get back to my presentation. Just a few more points that I'll cover today too. But yeah, I just can't express how much I've enjoyed working with the Handshake community, working with the people I've met, even the community developers. It has been such a cool experience. And honestly, I think some of the people here don't realize how rich and amazing a community is until you might go to other communities and see. You all have an amazing, amazing community. And just seeing something like these HandyCon events, how much goes into these, but how amazing the experience is amazing. Someone said, does it resolve HNS names right now? It does through third-party resolvers, which was our first phase of implementation. We got a bit stuck on the privacy layer of that. So we do want to make sure we can natively integrate it even more. But like I said, the ultimate goal, I mean, we're very actually amazingly granted a research grant from Open Systems. Shout out to Open Systems as well with Eric to do that. Cool. You guys want to say something? Jump in.
Awesome. I think we have 10 more minutes, right? So maybe we can help with Q&A, or I think there is some Q&A in the Q&A tab.
Oh, there is. Yeah, I got on my little rant there with the
People want to
browser.
vote up maybe ones that they like us to focus on because there's quite a few now. But I think Alex is pretty good one. It says, how is it free? How do you make money to fund it?
Yeah, fair. Good, very good question. Yeah. So the whole network is pretty much as pure utility as you can get. At the moment, there is no centralized, monetization for the project or the team per se. Everything's peer to peer. So if you're opening your MASQ browser and you're serving, your payments you receive in the MASQ token for people routing through your node is from other peers. In the future, it will certainly be like a protocol fee that's added to fund development, to foster an ecosystem, to grant to projects to build on us. But right now, it's all open, just peer-to-peer only. And right now, actually, everything is free. It's on the testnet Mumbai, on the Polygon ecosystem, and everyone can use it for free. What you didn't see in the beginning of the software starting up before I shared live is we've got a built-in custom faucet which airdrops every new user test tokens. So the minute you open this, you can use it, you can test drive everything, and it's free.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's quite a few more. Yeah, I think when HNS websites, I don't know if you have a date. Obviously, we're all here excited to resolve natively.
Yeah, we were wanting to dig into that stateless Dane in the Dane implementations. I know there's a browser or two that are doing it. What our goal would be first, or I guess our next milestone next would be to allow it to work over your open browsing. So when you're browsing across your normal IP, you're not using the mesh, the privacy network, the MASQ network. We wanted to work on that, which will work pretty easily. Where we're doing a little bit more work, which is a sort of a more complicated layer, is when MASQ is turned on and you're doing the multi-hop routing. The way the resolving works with getting a HNS domain to resolve is a little slightly different in that layer. So we're just working out the kinks on that. It's taking a little longer to work. But there's also lots of ways that we can do it because there's amazing community members who are building, their own resolution servers, other implementations. So yeah, it's hopefully in Q2. I don't want to give a date, but that's what we're hoping.
Understand. It was a chat, but I think worth it. So you can earn on this network, right? So he's asking, what are the tokenomics of being a node?
Yeah, fair enough. There's got to be incentives, right? So, what we know in basic economic terms is that there's a supply and demand, right? So in the way that we have borderless browsing as a concept, there'll be a very big amount of users in the world who are in a relatively unrestricted place where they're freely able to navigate websites and do all that. And those are desirable places because content which is desirable in those places will be wanting to be demanded by people who are in restricted places, right? So running a node in somewhere like the US or like the UK or whatever, you'll probably garner a lot of traffic because lots of users are requesting content from those places. So the tokenomics is really, if you're running a node or running the browser, for example, you turn on serving, you're sharing your bandwidth with whatever requests are going through your node. And that can depend on the traffic at the time, how many users are on, what users are requesting what. But once the network grows more, it'll just have a very balanced sort of supply and demand, and people will be running. You can leave it running overnight, for example, when you're not using much bandwidth, and wake up and there's a whole bunch of MASQ tokens there for just leaving it running while people are browsing. The other side of the tokenomics is for the consumer side, right? Now, a lot of people who use privacy tools, for example, a typical VPN, it's not pay as you go, right? You pay a monthly subscription. You might give them your credit card info so that obviously they know everything about you for the most part. There are some cool VPNs that allow you to pay with Monero and crypto and stuff, which is great. But essentially you pay for a certain amount per month and you can use a certain amount. Maybe they throttle you at a certain point. Consuming on MASQ is pay as you go. So you can use it when you want it, when you need it, You will pay your node neighbors for serving. But if you also serve as well as consume on the network, you might have a cost zero or a net gain of using MASQ, where day to day you're turning it on, you use a little bit here, a little bit there. While you're running at night, it's serving, and you might wake up and you've spent zero, or you might gain some on the mainnet because you're only using what you need. So in that sense, there's quite a novel economy to it. I've seen other ways done with other projects in the niche, but yeah, we feel like it's going to be very successful.
Yeah, so this question, Seth, you just answered. You can do both at the same time on the same machine?
Yes, actually, let me show the screen again. One of the reasons this version was a lot longer in the making for the part of this year is that we had both. We wanted to reiterate on that setting. So before, you had to do a couple things. You had to do a speed test and things like that. For now, we're changing away from that. But you can go to the screen and you can click both of these and serve and earn at the same time as consuming. So I didn't turn on serving because there's a chance that it will knock me off the stream because it does a little change on my router, to make it serve. But most of that's automatic. If your router's compatible out of the box, which a lot will be with this new version, you'll just click a few buttons and it'll connect. It'll say, yep, you're going on. And if there's traffic through your node, it'll show you. So you can do both. One aspect we want also is a premium user might want to say, use the normal internet on their ISP and serve at the same time, which we'll call serve only. We're going to make that a premium feature. And we haven't launched all this information yet because we're right on the cusp of launching the version, but we're going to make that a premium feature. So if you want to browse the normal web and serve, or, while you're doing it, it'll be like, a premium feature. So premium has like some extra cool stuff, but you can do both, or you can do one. The choice is yours. And so it's very customized. Now, a lot of solutions in the space, you have to run something from command line and do all this config and set up crazy stuff, or run two softwares. I mean, we took a lot of work to make this all in one. Couple clicks, boom, grandma can do it.
Yep. I want to bring it up. You might see it in a chat. Of course, privacy is a concern, but I've been studying this. There's end points and relay points, right? So are you a relay or are you an endpoint? Because endpoint's a little bit riskier. But is that like a higher monetization, I think, or you could just be a relay? I don't want to get so technical. I don't know I think you know what I'm talking about, but some people in the chat are just talking about privacy and security and, like, would you get the FBI at your door or something, or a letter in the mail or something like that?
Yeah, very, very good point. Very good point. Because, you don't want to open up any more risk, if you can help it. So yes, there is a higher monetization for people who operate as exit nodes. So if someone is an exit node, you'll be paid a little more if you are delivering that traffic from the server back through the routing to the user. And if you're a routing user, right now you can't choose between being a router only and like what they call in Tor, relay only. You can't choose that at the moment. But here's the real important aspect that we have built in, thinking about that very thing. We have a setting called content filtering. Right now it defaults to Cloudflare family, meaning that you're filtering family friendly content. If you want to serve the network, yes, it's absolutely fair. You will maybe have concerns about someone visiting a malicious site, a site that might have malware, X-rated, all sorts of stuff. You can choose one of these options to serve filtered content, which means it's family friendly or safe, or it blocks a known list of bad sites, whatever that is. And there's mainstream options here. You can add a custom option too. But what that means is if someone is browsing through the network and your node is serving that traffic as the exit node, it won't deliver it if it's something that it screens as bad through mainstream providers. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying, because in the chat there was some discussion about it. So yeah, people can choose how filtered they want their traffic to be. Yeah,
100%. So if you say, hey, look, I don't really mind, I just want to serve as whatever anyone delivers me, and maybe someone has run Tor nodes before and they want to have an incentive to do so on MASQ in a similar concept. Yeah, you can just choose anyone. But then if you're concerned and you want to make sure it's safe, you can do that here. So yeah, definitely very important though, because we don't want people to have inherent risk that they're not aware of. But at the same time, you do have a higher incentive as well when you're serving content. So yeah, that's all built in.
Awesome.
Is MASQ automatically going to load balance on the consumer side? I'm using a node. That node says I don't want to serve certain sites. As a consumer, I don't notice the difference, I'm guessing, right? It'll just hop to another provider.
Yeah, very good question on that too. Right now, the hop engine, or I guess, what we call it, sort of routing engine built in. Yeah, if it tries a route and that end node is saying, nope, I can't do the site, it will auto retry, I think up to 2 or 3 times. So within milliseconds, it will try again on another route. And then your node itself also is the one that builds all the routes, which is on a technical level different from Tor. Tor, you're relying on directory nodes, which there's a project out there that got really sort of pushed around because Tor decided to ban all the nodes that they were running for that network. And they do that through the directory service. Whereas ours is permissionless. You're only going to have routing that you know from your node presence. So if you can't get to something, it will try another route, and it's going to build that, and it will save that route as a reference just locally in your machine. So if you try to go to that site again, it'll say, oh, well, this route worked last time. I'm going to try it again. And you'll start building these connections through the mesh. So
fascinating. Sorry to harp on this one, but the Handshake resolution isn't quite there yet. When it arrives, we think it's going to be an app I will download on the App Store to enable it. Did I understand that correctly? Or is that
we'll have it native. We'll have it native in here. We want it to be just out of the box. I mean, we might put it as a toggle. I guess we'll see what users feel if you'd like it as a toggle, or maybe in the first implementation, which is really close, you might be able to choose what resolver you want to use, because I know there's a few out there like HNSTO, HNSDNS, HDNS. There's a whole bunch of them. We'll probably give a lot of choices to the users, which is kind of our theme with things. So just to give one example too on live, and I know we're almost out of time, but for example, in the settings, you can go down and say, hey, I want to use DuckDuckGo as my default search engine. I don't know why you'd want to do that as Web3 people, but we've given that option. You got other browser extensions you can turn on and off. We're steering away from the big fox here for lots of reasons. They're not very privacy centric, but yeah, give lots of choices. So we would predict that the options around HNS and Handshake will probably be there for users too.
Awesome.
Love it. Thank you.
There was one chat, I think maybe if we can sneak it in. HNS Broker asked, I don't know if you're aware, but in 2026, ICANN will be releasing more TLDs. So there will be collisions. They're going to be releasing collisions with us. So would you resolve, I guess maybe you're kind of saying it might be a toggle or default, but if there's a collision, I don't know if you follow what we mean, but would you follow the Handshake blockchain or the ICANN new TLD?
Yeah, very good question. I think that's something that we'd like the community to give feedback on. I mean, I know here in this forum, it's obvious that Handshake would be preferred, but again, you hear from other speakers how you don't want to, for the right reasons, you may not want impersonation if it isn't done in the right way. But I think, you're right, Mike. It'd probably end up as a toggle where we let a user decide, hey, which one would I prefer? And then we can somehow build that feature routing in there so it would follow what the user wants. But yeah, you're right. There will be collisions in the future. So we've got a year or two to start looking at that.
Yeah, putting some people are asking for Android. There's a few more questions. Been a lot of good engagement. We're a little bit over time now, but
sure.
Is there Android? I think it's pure desktop, right? Or where can people use this?
Yeah, so right now we're pure desktop app. Once all versions are building well, it'll be Windows, Mac, and Linux. We have a snap, but we also have an app image for those with different flavors, with a couple guides to help run those. We do want to look at porting it to an Android app. What you're seeing on the screen for the technical people, this is built in React.js and deployed in Electron. And the reason why that's important is React.js can be ported to React Native, which is what pretty much all the apps on Android are built in. So we were horizon planning in that way because we want to try and make it as an Android app very quickly when we're ready. So let's be real. How many billions of users are on their phone browsing as opposed to the desktop? So if we can use MASQ as that gateway and that window for HNS at your fingertips from a phone, everyone wins, right? That's diversification.
Great. This is really cool. Thanks so much. Yeah, I really appreciate the presentation and your support and the live demo and everything. So everybody should support. I've been using it. You can also, but the token, I think you also get like VIP benefits if you have the token, or it seems like even now, but at least in the future, right? So you get like preferential traffic or other things by holding the token MASQ, right?
100%. That we call that the MASQ premium. So if you hold, we actually this last bit of alpha for the day, we're dropping that amount up to now. It's been 1,000 to hold, right? Yeah. So we now, it's about probably a year ago we implemented that limit, and that's appreciated a lot. And we know a lot of users, we don't want them to be priced out of having cool features. So we're dropping it to 500 for anyone, just to get all the same features I showed you now, with perks and stuff. And then the versions from this, it's going to be tiered. So you might have certain features you want. They'll be like, if you hold this much, you can get these features. If you hold this much, you get this cool unlock. And it's going to be more like user customized, gamified in a way so people can sort of get what they want and build up their loyalty benefits. So yeah, that's the other part of the utility we have. So really excited for that too. I'm sure a lot of the community are really excited for that too. But for those who are new or maybe have used it a little bit, the biggest change you'll see is that the minute you open this browser, you can use it. There's no premium lock on using it as a normal browser on your normal web. You can browse off MASQ on the normal web, your normal IP, straight out of the box. And we know that user adoption will just dramatically multiply because of that. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. All right.
Yeah,
I think we got a little networking break. But yeah, so maskbrowser.com. And is there anything, any points, Alex, you have?
I don't have any points. I think I'm playing around with it, so sorry. But we are going to be on the...
I'm using it too. I've had it before, but yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be new and improved. There's a lot of cool stuff in this new version, which took a while. New thing. And yeah, we've got a little video outro as well.
I made my home in a tin-top bar, and I was so happy with 28 years of free falling. Oh, but now it's all guts and I'm bald.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's cool.
I think people want a part 2, huh?
yeah, we need part 2. Okay.
Yeah.
So
awesome,
we got
everybody.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you
thanks so much. And take care. Sorry for going over.
No, it's great. We got so much today, but this was after a lot of people were waiting for this session. So thanks so much for sharing and your support for Handshake.
Nice. Anytime. You guys are amazing. I always want to support amazing communities and builders out there. So keep doing what you're doing. We love it. We're part of it. And hey, resilience, evolution, diversification. We're all here for that. And that's going forward, man. Keep it up.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.